Today's show is sponsored by Better With Money. Better With Money is one of the leading financial services firms in the UK. Engaged employees perform better, stay longer, and are bigger advocates for your brand and company. Improving your employees' financial education is one of the most valuable things you can do for them, and giving them skills for life to make them better with money helps them plan, live, and enjoy life, boosting their engagement and benefiting from your organisation. Better With Money helps you achieve this in a fun and efficient way. To contact them, please visit betterwithmoney.com or call 07932 756 390.
Welcome to Thinking Women,
The Intelligent Conversation Show.
And we've got another amazing show lined up for you. We're so good.
We do. We've got a busy show today, actually. We've got lots of people in, haven't we? Which is great because after lockdown, being able to have people back in the studio has been fantastic.
Yeah, so stay tuned.
Really
it's
good.
Amazing. I'm talking to Victoria Penrose, who's an absolutely amazing celebrity makeup artist, and she's going to be talking to me about just how to do post-lockdown makeup with the masks on, which is like a big deal.
A bit of a thing. And I'm speaking to Heidi James from HMS ShipShape. So she's a fitness instructor and she's going to be telling us about what she's been up to. And Vandemeulen, who is from the Federation of Small Businesses, and she's going to be talking to me about the challenges that businesses are facing under the new rules. So lockdown's been difficult, but actually post-lockdown and some of the changes that have happened have meant that there's different challenges. And also we've got our resident finance expert and sponsor, Sarah Steele from Better With Money, and she's going to be talking to us about financial scams.
And we do know some people have been caught by that, so that's really, really, really important little piece. And Emma Gordon, our fashion expert, has made a lovely little video piece about going out in this crappy weather, but making your summer clothes work.
Oh, we love Emma.
We love
so
her.
basically, between Emma and Victoria, we should know how to look summery with a mask on, with our makeup done. Perfect.
We're so good to you, ladies. We
are
so good to you.
We are. Anyway, what has been in your inbox, Lou?
Well, I am all about the HRT at the moment. So I know if any of you follow us on the Thinking Women Collective, that you may have seen a couple of videos that I put up there, because Davina McCall, her production company, did an amazing program on HRT that so many people have watched, and I watched it, but prior to that I'd started watching a couple of videos by an amazing doctor called Dr. Louise Newson, and this woman is literally breaking the taboo of HRT. And you know what I've learned in the last couple of weeks has been phenomenal, and the amount of misinformation that women are being given about HRT is kind of mind-blowing. So I'm all over this. I'm all over it. And actually what's interesting, Mags, I'm nearly 56, so I'm in that older age group. You're in your 40s, and what they talk about actually is that really you can start taking these body identical hormones, estrogen, at your age.
Gosh. So, and I suppose it's no different taking the pill, is it?
Well, what it is, and this is what actually really interested me, is my mind was stuck in the old days where it was a kind of pill, a sort of chemical compound, and it did cause some women to have problems. There was the issue with blood clotting, and there was also the issue with the estrogen-related breast cancer. But there's a new generation of patches and gels which are called body identical estrogen, and they bypass the liver, and they just go, and all it is replacing what we already have.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely, I'm all over it. I'm all over it.
And if you go on our Facebook site and join our group, then there is lots more information on there about that. So that's the thing. I mean, for me, a big topic of conversation has been how people have felt after their COVID jab. It's a bit of a controversial one, and some people have felt quite tired and that. So, and personally, I've felt quite exhausted.
Oh, the tiredness. I know. I've got my second one coming up, and I'm a bit scared to have it. But
it's all good. It's all positive thing. But that's
I
basically.
did hear the other day that if you did feel quite bad after your first one, it means that you may have had it.
Really?
I don't know if that's
Who
a true
knows?
thing. Who
so
knows?
again, if anyone's got any insight or comments into that, let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Anyway, over to our first guest. So we're delighted to welcome into the studio Heidi Hayden, fitness instructor who runs HMS ShipShape and has just launched the Your Health is Your Wealth campaign. So welcome, Heidi.
Hi,
it's
Matt.
lovely to have you here.
Thank you for having me today.
That's an absolute pleasure. And you've got quite an amazing story to tell, haven't you?
I have, hopefully.
Yes, yes. So how did you get into all this health fitness instructing? Because you weren't always a fitness instructor, were you?
No, so I've worked full-time in university education for a number of years, and then back in 2015 my dad's Auntie Marion sadly passed away in Penrose, which is a rural community village on the outskirts of Camborne, and she brought a lot of love and joy through music as the organist at Crowan Church and Crowan Primary School, working in music festivals with the children. And when she passed, I thought I wanted to carry on the family legacy and start my business, HMS ShipShape, in Praise and Beeble, but bringing joy of exercise into the community as opposed to music.
What a wonderful thing to do. And you've been super fit, haven't you? I mean, we've got a photograph of you actually just here. So this is Heidi in her super fit half marathon running days. But what you're doing now is a bit different, isn't it?
So back then, that photo's in around 2018 when I'd gone through divorce, and I was really focusing on fitness as a way of coping with that experience positively.
Which a lot of people do, don't they?
Yes, and you know, as you feel more empowered, you kind of want to strive to do more, and you know, all of it was about focusing on running, on times and targets, and how much I could lift in the gym. And then obviously with lockdown, my whole perception of fitness changed for me, and it's been very much my life saviour for the mental well-being side of it.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Because I think, you know, we use exercise for lots of different reasons, don't we? You know, to lose weight and so on. But the mental side of it is massive, and just actually doing some exercise, we know, can just make a huge difference to how you feel. So, but I wanted to actually show people as well one of your classes because you've got a certain style, haven't you?
Yes, I do have a unique.
So have a quick look at this, which I just adore it. It takes me back to the days of, you know, the old aerobics that we used to do, and it's just brilliant. Absolutely adore it. So hopefully that'll inspire some of you to actually get online and have a look at Heidi's website and join in with some of her classes, which are amazing. So tell us a little bit though about your campaign, the Your Health is Your Wealth.
Yes,
campaign.
So this campaign has been recently started from my experiences of a lockdown. So for everybody, we've all had challenges with COVID. It's impacted on us in a lot of ways, and primarily for me, through my experience of how living alone in isolation, and at times when I've been motivated, using exercise to sort of help me for my well-being. It's about, you know, a lot of us feel socially isolated, we lack confidence. There are still a lot of barriers for some people to getting out there again in society as the lockdown measures ease. And I think Your Health is Your Wealth campaign is about trying to reach out to other fitness businesses, other businesses in the hospitality, you know, places that you would go to try and improve your well-being.
Yeah. And how do people get involved in that then?
Well, basically, I'd love to hear from anybody who is kind of really struggling, really wants to get like involved in exercise in a fun way, to help with their well-being and their motivation. So any local businesses, we're really wanting to sort of work together more rather than in competition, and to see how we can work together organically through chats and discussions. So if they can contact me, and it'd be brilliant. Other people in local fitness industry, local coffee shops, that would be amazing.
What we know as well is that when people are obviously fitter and healthier and their mental health is better, they're less likely to take time off work and things like that. So the impact it has on business is massive, which is why obviously a lot of businesses in the past have offered gym memberships and things like that and access to gyms. But now with lockdown and our new way of working, that's more tricky, isn't it? So having your campaign, that sounds absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and I think previously in the fitness industry, our focus would be at the moment on physical fitness goals.
Yeah.
So like getting beach body ready in 7 or 8 weeks time.
Yeah.
And the very thought of that at the moment, and I'm sure for a lot of people, just fills you with dread. So at the moment, it's about getting out there socially, through exercise, through, you know, entertaining in the hospitality, to really just welcome the well-being benefits.
Yeah, it's a total different attitude to it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is so welcome and so it's so refreshing, really, to move away from this sort of thing about having to have the perfect body to it actually helping you have a better mindset and a better, you know, be more mindful and a better person.
Yeah, because our strap line on HMS Shipshape is a lifeline to fitness that's fun and friendly, and that's primarily what we've always done, and more so than ever what we're trying to do now. It's just letting go of your inhibitions, just having some fun with it, and just having those social community
just not
benefits.
taking it so seriously.
Absolutely.
And I know your mum has been really, really supportive in all this, hasn't she?
Yeah.
And here we've got a little picture of you and your lovely mum. So, thank you to Heidi's mum as well, Susan, for helping out and getting this going. So it all sounds amazing. So thanks so much for coming and telling us about it. And Heidi's going to be featured on one of our podcasts as well. So we'll be talking in more detail about what you're doing. But thank you so much. It's a great initiative, and good luck with it all.
Thank you for having me.
It's okay.
Apparently, it's summer. And we're supposed to be wearing our lovely summer clothes, but the weather is appalling. But ladies, we still want to put on those summer dresses. So thank you to our wonderful stylist, Emma Gordon, who's got some top tips on how to wear our summer clothes in this horrendous weather.
Hello, I'm stylist Emma Gordon. I don't know about you, but I am longing for the weather to warm up in the UK so I can float around in pretty summer dresses. But the weather is still a bit chilly, isn't it, at the moment? And the majority of our activities are being spent outdoors. I often think it's difficult to get the balance between keeping warm and looking summery. So I've put a few ideas of ways to style your summer dresses for warmth, but also looking chic and styled. So starting off with this gorgeous gingham dress from Monsoon, which works so well for all body shapes. It's got an incredibly flattering neckline and sleeve length, as you can see. It works brilliantly teamed with a colourful cardi, like this gorgeous lilac one here from Moncler. And I love the idea of clashing this gingham with another print. I'm going to go all out with this look and team it with a pair of gold ankle boots too. I absolutely love the sophistication of a black summer dress. And this one from Kitry Studio does not disappoint. It's got the perfect 3/4 length sleeve, beautiful frilly detailing on the shoulder, and my waist is defined with a little belt. Now, not forgetting these divine shell detail buttons all the way down the front. There are 6 types of jacket I adore this time of year when you need an extra layer. A leather biker jacket to add edge to a look. A coloured blazer like this one here from Zara. I love how it sits against pattern, and I've accessorised it with a vintage brooch. Denim gives a really youthful vibe, and camo is a brilliant type of jacket to clash prints and make it look a bit more casual. I'm a big fan of a gilet, especially if you want to show off sleeve detailing on a dress like this, for example. I love the print here on this mango gilet. Finally, my wardrobe must-have for every spring, summer is a white blazer. It's a firm favourite of mine. Do check out the high street. Places like Zara and Massimo Dutti, I think, are brilliant for affordable tailored blazers that really elevate a look. When it comes to bags this time of year, traditionally, I love to add a basket, which I think shouts real summer vibes. But I also love to add dimension and light to a look. And I borrowed this bag from Luxe Designers, which is available at Boutique Made the Edit. It's so elegant, isn't it? And it's the perfect size for your essentials. I love how it sits against pattern and also block colour. And gold is a great alternative to a neutral tone. And as for footwear, whilst it's still a bit chilly, I'll be teaming my dresses with socks teamed with ankle boots, cowboy boots and trainers. But as soon as the sun is out, I am pedicure ready and longing to add a bit of glam. So I'm looking for a summer shoe that gives just that. What about these absolutely stunning glittery gold flats, which I borrowed from Boutique Made the Edit? Gold is such a brilliant alternative to brown or cream-toned summer shoes. And after all, who can resist a touch of sparkle?
Ladies, lockdown has played absolute havoc with our makeup. We have masks on, we have masks off, we don't know whether the mask is taking our makeup off, lipstick is all over the place. So what do we do now that we're going out? So we are joined today by the beautiful Victoria Penrose, celebrity makeup artist, who is the perfect person to help us. We need your help, gorgeous lady.
You're welcome.
Do we do? How do we deal with this?
There's a few things that you need to think about when you're putting your mask on. The fact that it can drag your makeup off. So I'm a really big fan of really dewy, glossy faces, really healthy looking faces and not too matte. But I'm afraid I'm going to tell you, when wearing a mask, you do need to matte that makeup down. Okay. So you definitely need to set it with some translucent powder. So if you put your foundation on, your concealer on, make sure you just press that down with a little light dusting of translucent powder or pressed powder, something like... So translucent powder would be loose in a pot like this. And when I say pressed powder, it's powder that can't fall out, so it's been pressed into a palette so it can't come out.
Brilliant, top tip.
Either of those things, just to really help secure that makeup on your mask, before you put your mask on, I should say. And when you're putting your mask on, like, just try and lift very gently over and try and take off forward instead of just
rather rubbing it off. I know, because it's my nose. It all comes off my nose and I get a red nose.
I mean, I'm afraid I would love to say that I've got the miracle, cure for that not happening, but when I'm doing makeup on celebs or on presenters, they don't wear masks going between the makeup room and the studio. They just don't. I'm sorry that it's not possible, because it would rub their makeup off. Yeah. And we're always there to touch them up. So there is really no foolproof way. Definitely trying to put a really good base underneath your makeup. So really good hydrating primer that's also mattifying. Shall I show you a different couple of primers? Just to let you know, if your primer is see-through, so it comes out invisible, that is... Hang on a sec.
It comes out.
Here's what I made earlier.
Come on, you can do it.
Come on. Listen, I've got hardly any left to get through millions of these. Can you see on the back of my hand, it's completely see-through and it dries almost like a velvet consistency. Yeah. That's mattifying.
Right.
If you see a primer, now am I going to have one here, that comes out white, like this, and is a little bit more fluid, that's a hydrating primer.
Right.
So if you feel like you've got dry, flaky skin, hydrating primer. If you've got oily skin, mattifying primer. To keep your makeup on, mattifying primer. Okay. It's everything that's matte.
So we want to keep the makeup on, that's the thing.
Yes.
So we can keep our foundation on with those top tips.
Yep.
We're mostly walking around with a mask, so you're not seeing that face.
No, I haven't worn red lipstick for a year.
And we've both got red lipstick and we're so keen to get our red lips out. Well, we'll talk about lips in a minute, but once we get going with our lovely Heidi here, who's agreed to be our model for now, who's looking fab. So we were talking, weren't we, about how to make a feature. Because our face is covered, we've forgotten about our lips. We're going to, again, as I say, I want to talk about lips in a sec. Don't let me not talk about lips. But we're going to talk about eyes now, because as we kind of were saying, that's the thing that everybody is going to see above everything else.
So what we want to do today is just create a really beautiful, quite wearable, but also quite a dramatic eye. So I would say I'm going to do my sort of 3-step process to creating a really beautiful eye. Now Heidi's very lucky because she's got a really easy eye to work with. Heidi, if you open your eyes.
She's got lovely big eyes.
She's still got a lid when her eyes are open, whereas when mine are open, I sort of get this bit of like overhang here. So she's still got a lid, but she's also got this amazing arch and this amazing socket line here. So I can really do a classic
lots to work with,
smoky eye. Yes. What I would say, if you don't have what you call all the components of a nice deep socket and then, you know, a very well proportioned eye, is that maybe you just take different tips from, I mean, I can't do it now, but I could do more demonstrations, and there are more on my Instagram, of course.
Yeah, must follow Victoria on her Instagram.
The whole point is that we're trying to emphasise the shape and shade. I'm going to have to stand in front because I can't do makeup from this way.
I'll move this way.
I'm going to come around. So where I want to create depth is where I'm putting my mid-tone colour. So this mid-tone sort of smoky matte brown, I'm also using only matte colours with Heidi, because as we all get a bit towards our best stage of life, the bit when we've got a bit more cash and we're a bit more grown up, eyelids and eyes tend to have a little bit more texture.
Okay, texture,
I call
that's
it.
a nicer word.
Crepiness,
I'm calling it.
I find when I'm putting a very shimmery or glittery eyeshadow or very metallic, it really highlights every single line.
Little crease.
So, and I'm not saying that's necessarily Heidi's, case here, but I'm going to use a matte because you just can't go wrong with a matte eyeshadow.
But it would be if you're doing me, to be honest. I would definitely
say, absolutely, if you want to put shimmer on and you want to play and it's a night out, do what you want, don't listen to me. If you were going to do it correctly, I would say anyone maybe over the age of 50s, whatever, might want to think about a little bit less shininess on the eyes.
Okay.
So what I've done on Heidi, my first thing was to put this lovely cream base colour all over the eye. So I did a wash all over the eye, and then I really highlighted this socket with this lovely mid-tone brown. So I just used my brush, just to really softly blend that colour into the socket.
You're going in there, aren't you?
I'm just doing little small
soft,
circles. I'm putting a very small amount. I'm going to get some brushes over here. Let me just bring this across here. Sorry, guys.
I can hold.
No, you're good. Once I've got this in my hand, we're all ready to go. Because what I want to show you is, this is a blending brush. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it's a very soft, fluffy brush. That is what you're going to use to just really blend all those shapes out. Now, I've used that clean, and I've gone on top of the colour that I've put on just to blend that all through. And I'm going to keep that for later because that's going to be my magic tool. When I really want to press on colour, I'm using this very flat, hard brush. And that means I can take this really dark charcoal, give it a tap off, and just push it.
And pressing it
really press that colour. Now, I've done the socket definition. There's enough there just to really recede that socket in, just to make Heidi's eyes look even bigger. And I'm now using this lovely deep charcoal colour just along the lash line. And I'm just pushing that colour down, back in with my trusty blending brush, and I'm just going to pull that colour and wing it out slightly.
Now, Victoria, when I put dark colours on my eyes, it goes all over the place?
You're putting too much product on.
Okay.
I'm guessing.
Am I overloading my brush?
I'm guessing.
Okay.
Tap off.
Yeah.
And then just turn to me a little bit. Thank you, Heidi. And I'm just going to push that colour down towards the socket line. I'm taking that up into the contour, up into the crease. I'm just pushing that on so I can put a little bit on.
I see what you're doing.
And then I can blend that away. And do you know what? I can put more on if I want more.
Yeah.
But I can't take it off.
Yeah. Well, mine's all down my face, basically. Mine's sitting on my cheek or in my dark circle troughs. And not a good look.
Yeah. And also really remember that when you're doing your makeup, you don't go flick, 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 flick. And then all of that dark pigment is going to get into that inner socket where we want to keep as bright and glowing as possible. We don't want darkness in there. So just really careful when you're patting this colour on, and just little steady flicks and movements. I'm doing this sort of, can you see that backwards C shape?
Yeah, okay.
I tend to do that, and that's a really nice way of keeping my brush in one place, and I'm just moving that around the lash line and into the socket line.
Lovely.
Open your eyes for me, Heidi. So that's already defined Heidi's eyes really prettily, but we want to give it a bit of patch, like a bit of oomph now. So let's put this away. I'm going to run, do my little twisty thing around.
Dance across here.
That's it, you just all dance around me. That's how I like things to be.
While you're getting that together, let me just ask you about lips, because the masks again. I mean, lipstick sales plummeted. I feel really sorry for anybody who's producing lipsticks. They must, because you can't, there's no point.
Yeah, you really can.
And when I do it, because I put it on anyway, I feel like there's a point.
You feel better for you, yeah.
But underneath the mask, I take it off later on, and my lipstick is literally all over my face. I look like I've smeared my face in lipstick. So what can we do? Just forget about it.
You can obviously buy the matte lipsticks that, the 24-hour stay on. And I actually think technology is so advanced now that I do think the makeup is staying on. The lipstick is formulated to stay on, and I will give it credits where credit's due. It does work. I happen to not bother because I wear masks for such extreme lengths of time when I'm filming. There is no point. I just want to keep my lips really hydrated and moisturised underneath the mask, so I'm not causing them any damage. That said, if you're just going to pop a mask on because you're simply going into the restaurant, and of course you want to put some lipstick on, because once you're in the restaurant, now we can go in them. You obviously can you know,
Well, that's
sit
the
down
thing
and enjoy.
now, isn't it? It's changed again.
It's changing, yeah.
It didn't matter, now it matters again, because, you know, I want to sit in a restaurant with my lip, mind you, you put your lipstick on and then the food takes it off as well, doesn't it?
This is true, but that's why these matte lipsticks that you can buy are absolutely brilliant. Another really good tip is just get your lip liner in your favourite colour and draw that all over your lips. Because lip liners are so matte.
And maybe a little balm or not?
And a little bit of balm on top.
Maybe
yeah.
just to kind of...
Just to ease it a bit.
Yeah.
But obviously, as soon as you put any kind of moisture or hydration, whether it's on your skin or on your lips, mask will take it clean off. So we really want to sort of suction it to the lips. So a lip liner is a really cheap way of kind of getting that colour on there.
That's quite interesting, actually, because to me, as a layperson with makeup, the lacking moisture, lacking of that side of things is sort of counterintuitive to me.
Mm-hmm.
I would tend to think if I'm sort of putting a mask on and that's making my face dry, I should have more moisture.
But you can do that at night, and you can do that when you're not wearing a mask, and you can do that at home. But just for that 2-3 hours, you want your night out, or you're doing the school run, or whatever that might be, and you want a bit of makeup on, just try and keep it matte. It will feel strange. So what I've done on Heidi's eyes is I've just taken a liquid liner on my, well, it was actually a gel liner, on my fine liner brush. And I've just taken that from the middle of Heidi's eyes and just swept that along her lash line. That'll make her eyelashes look bigger. It'll make them stand out a lot more. But a liquid line or a gel liner can look a little bit harsh. It can look a bit, especially as we get older, it can look a bit, I don't know, just not as soft and attractive.
Yeah, just soften it.
So I've just gone over with my angled brush and I've just slightly just tapered that edge out a little bit and just really worked that colour. Open your eyes. And it just sort of takes that harshness away.
Yeah, lovely. Really lovely.
What Heidi's already got is mascara on, because obviously she didn't want to, she's already been on one of your programmes, hasn't she? So she had some mascara on already. In real life, you wouldn't already have mascara on. So I would be able to wiggle some mascara on now, but it might go a little bit flaky.
Okay.
One tip is probably not to layer up your mascara too much, because once it dries and you try and put another layer on, it can really start flaking off. Yeah.
Well, that's another top tip then, to avoid doing that.
And also, when you're wearing masks, curl your eyelashes. Get a metal eyelash curler. I shouldn't really say, look down for me please, Heidi. I shouldn't really say this, but if you were to heat up your metal eyelash curler in a hairdryer, so the metal's hot, then you curl your eyelashes.
Without burning.
Test it on the back of my hand, test it on your cheek. Look up for me. And look up. A lot of people avoid mascara on their bottom lashes. Have you done that intentionally, Heidi? Yeah. You could. Can you tell us
yes,
why?
I'm sorry, yes.
Why is that? I know you haven't got a mic on.
I just never wear
Look up.
mascara on my bottom lashes.
Is there
or
a reason?
eyeliner on my bottom lashes because of the smudginess.
Because it all drops down.
And
I'm
I look
the
like
same.
spider legs.
Mine comes down and it makes me look more tired. So I only wear it
Okay.
on the top as well.
So we would in real world, in the makeup world, we would never avoid doing the bottom lashes. The only time I'd probably avoid doing anything on the bottom eyelashes is if I'm doing someone in their 80s and 90s where there really isn't much lash left to do, or eyes might be slightly smaller. But I think, it just really makes the eyes look way more alive. It just jumps out so much more. Now, I don't know if you can pick that up on camera, but I have got a little bit of flaking from where I put mascara on top of Heidi's mascara. So I'm just going to get a clean brush, a little bit of pressed powder, and I'm just going to take that away with that.
Whisk it away.
Just really quickly whisk it away. I'm not going to try and use anything wet because that will take off the foundation we'd already done. Just going to slightly brush that off.
And she looks stunning.
So you can build that up more and more and more. You can go an even darker socket. You can get your glittery, smudgy pencil and run that along if you want. There's no rules for makeup. You should do exactly what you want. But this is kind of just a really great classic 3-shade eye.
And it looks absolutely beautiful. So with your mask on, you're going to be like a siren. Amazing. They were great tips as well, Victoria, actually, because things have changed so much for us, and it's a minefield for us trying to do the makeup with these masks situations. So thank you so much.
You're more than welcome.
Absolutely brilliant. And thank you, Heidi.
Thanks, Heidi. Great model.
With the recent news that 8 people have been arrested because of the Royal Mail financial scam. Financial scams are real things. So how do you avoid them and look out for them and not get stung? Here's our resident financial expert, Sarah Steele, with more.
So today I'm going to touch on scams, because according to UK Finance, scams designed to steal our money have doubled since this time last year, and they're still on the increase. Now, being a victim of these not only leaves us out of pocket financially, but it can also be really upsetting and leave us feeling anxious that it's going to happen again. So there are a few ways in which scammers target us. It might be email, it might be text, it could be a phone call, or sometimes it's even adverts on social media. Now, one of the most common scams around at the moment, and I've received a couple of these myself, is either a text or an email message, apparently from a parcel courier firm, might be somebody like Royal Mail or DPD, and it says that there's a fee to be paid before that parcel can be delivered. The message then contains a web page that asks us for payment details and other personal information. And then what the fraudsters do is they either use this information to set up accounts or payments in your name, or in some cases, it's been the start of a much more elaborate con where they pose as bank employees and they talk you into moving your money into other accounts that they've got control of. So what should you watch out for then? Well, first of all, think, have I been contacted out of the blue? You know, it's very unusual for legitimate organisations to contact you and ask you for personal or payment information, particularly if you're not expecting them to. Now, if you're not 100% convinced about the identity of the person or the company that message is from, contact them directly. Ask them if it was them. Secondly, if that message contains a link, be really wary about clicking on it. Now, if you've received that by email, what you can do is hover your mouse over that link and it should show you the true website address of where it's going to direct you to. And that might be completely different from the company that message was from. Again, if in doubt, don't click on it because it could be taking you to a fake website to collect the payment details from you. But also look for spelling and grammar mistakes because these are often a scam giveaway. You know, real organisations will rarely make those types of mistakes because they've got communications that are being put together by professionals and they're being checked before they're sent. One of the things you can do to keep yourself better informed about scams is to sign up to the Action Fraud Alert Service, which you'll find on the Action Fraud website. And what it does is it sends you details of the latest scams to watch out for in your area. But if you do believe you've become the victim of a scam, please report it to your bank or your payment provider as soon as possible. Also report it to Action Fraud again, and you're going to find their contact details on their website. Now, even if that scam was unsuccessful and you haven't lost money, just by reporting it, you might be protecting somebody else who might be caught by it in future. So stay safe, keep your eyes peeled for those scams, and I really look forward to seeing you next time.
So lockdown has been enormously difficult for small businesses, but now the rules are changing. There's different challenges that businesses are having to deal with. We've got Anne Vandemeulen, who is the Development Manager for the Federation of Small Businesses in Cornwall, with us to talk about what those challenges are. Welcome, Anne.
Hi.
So, what is happening? Things have changed, and how is it out there in the world of small businesses, and what are they dealing with?
Well, it's really changed. I mean, obviously they've had an awful lot to cope with. You know, they've had grants, they've been closed, they've been opened, they've been closed again. You know, now they're open again. There's a lot that's they've had to take on board, and of course that's affected their staff an awful lot. But what it has done is it's made businesses trust their employees a lot more because they've had to work from home.
Which is a brilliant thing.
Which is a bonus for everybody, and I think people have learned now that that's a new way of working. Does have its knock-on problem, of course, because those who now have face-to-face jobs perhaps might not want to go back to them, which is what we're seeing in hospitality.
Okay.
So so there's a lot happening out there and there's a lot of change.
So how big an issue is it for hospitality with staffing then?
Well, if you put yourself in their shoes, if you imagine that you're running a bar or a cafe or something and you've got people who are coming in that need to be served, but hang on a minute, you haven't got a chef, or hang on a minute, you haven't got your waitressing staff. Or
and you've got people banging on the door to come back. Absolutely. And obviously everyone wants to go out for a meal.
Absolutely. So what do you do? And actually there are some businesses that aren't able to open fully for all of the days in the week that they would normally because they just can't get the staff. And you can see now that businesses are having to pay, they're paying £1,000 as a bonus an employment bonus for a chef.
Gosh.
Because they absolutely need to have these people within their business. They can't operate without
So
them.
that's a huge shift, isn't it? And obviously, you know, the economy of the salaries will be, as you say, an increase potentially for hospitality as there's a demand and a shortage of people because you've got more people wanting to work from home in jobs that presumably they couldn't do before from home.
Absolutely.
And how does that affect geography? So obviously you're based down here in Cornwall, and traditionally that has been a very hospitality centred industry. Are you seeing changes as well in the types of jobs people are doing down here?
Yeah, people are moving around. There's also, you know, the whole issue of actually accommodation as well. I mean, you know, there's a knock-on effect obviously into the rental market, people buying houses down here, people renting while they're buying another house. So, and those on the lower wages and some of that low wage economy actually are finding difficulty in getting places to live. So people are moving around and it's really difficult for people to adjust. But there are those who have gone out and are sort of gone to different jobs and they've now found other things to do. So they've actually readjusted to what they want out of life.
Yeah.
And now they're not coming back to hospitality either. So they're finding that they want to spend more time with their families. I mean, you know, there's a lot of people who have got responsibilities at home, children, dogs, elderly parents, whatever.
And people have taken on responsibility they didn't have before. You know,
They have.
People
Got a dog.
that got a
Yeah.
dog. You know, we know that there's been a huge increase in the number of people who have got pets. And
Absolutely.
I don't know about baby boom, but I know in some industries I hear I think it was something on the radio about ballet dancers taking advantage of the fact that they are not working to have children.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's breaking their career. So it's been life-changing for lots of reasons.
Really
But
has.
childcare is an interesting one because I think COVID has definitely changed the attitude towards childcare and flexibility.
And also including the family within your job. I mean, you know, we had the other day, we had a big national team meeting with all of our staff, and one of the people who was leading one of the sessions, her little boy wasn't very well. He'd come home from wherever he was, and he was sat with her. And actually, it was really nice because it makes you feel more human. I know that, you know, when people were being interviewed on television, for example, there was a really big thing about what was on people's shelves, on their bookcases.
Oh, I'm fascinated.
And that identity.
Totally.
You know, and it does give people more of
It
an
does.
identity, and
Yeah.
actually it connects people with home and work, but it also gives people that flexibility. So in our already stressful lives, employers and employees are now able to work together to make the best of it. And in a world where, you know, we want to have it all, it does help us to have it all.
And I want to ask about, you know, this is moving to the office environment. So I know one of the things that people benefited from a lot being in the office was being able to sort of hear what else was going on.
Yeah.
When you're in an open plan office, you overhear conversations, you go to the water cooler, the kitchen, and you have a chat and so on. So there's quite a lot of work and business gets done informally in the office and in the pub as well. So we've lost that. Do you think that's an issue?
It is. I think particularly when you've got new employees, for example, or you've got people you want to train, I think, you know, apprenticeships and so on may well suffer slightly because, you know, you do have that sort of what used to be called sitting next to Nelly kind of thing, you know, and actually learning from each other. But I think we can still go further with using things like Zoom and, you know, other online platforms.
And the
to be able
Zoom
to
socials have been great. You know.
It really is. And it will make those meetups, if you like, of people much more special. So you're not spending hours ploughing up and down the A30 to go to work and to do all of those things, you know. And I think it's going to get away from that sort of presenteeism as well. And it will probably aid productivity because management is now changing to be much more results driven as opposed to presenteeism. So if you turn up at, you know, 9 o'clock and you go home at 5 o'clock and you haven't done much, well, you've been at work.
Yeah.
But actually, if you're working from home, your employer is now going to be looking at results-based management. So that makes life much more productive for you and for them. So I think things are changing, and I think there will be other ways of training, and we will be able to meet up, and you will be able to go and meet at, I don't know, a local cafe, which actually also brings you back to the high street.
Yeah, and it's
as well.
bringing back business into the hospitality.
Exactly.
So it's interesting. So there's good and bad come out of lockdown. But
Absolutely.
what would you say, just to finish off, your top tip for any small business? What should they be
Top
focusing
tip
on?
now is keep talking, keep communicating. certainly communicate with your employees, understand what their situation is, and also tell them what the situation of the business is as well, and actually work together. You know, we've already started this bond of, you know, looking into people's houses and being sort of, you know, connected to them at home. So let's keep that communication, find out from them what they can do for you and what you can do for them, and then that way things will work out.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Anne. That's been really helpful,
It's a
and
pleasure.
hopefully that's helped some new and old businesses out there recover from and bounce back from what we've been through with COVID. So thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Well, what an amazing show. It's been brilliant, actually. Just having people back here in the studio has been so great.
Jam-packed and real variety. I hope you really enjoyed it, everybody. Thank you to all of our guests, Emma, Victoria,
Sarah, Heidi, Anne, and thank you to Sarah and Better With Money for sponsoring the show, and we'll see you next time.
take care guys, bye.
Bye.